How about it, YouTube? Well, I've been bolting parts on this car every day last week. I come out here when I had a minute and I started putting parts on. And we got the rad in. We got some hoses cobbled together. I'll talk to you more about some of that stuff I did on the bottom rad hose here in a second. I'll get you down there and show you. But we put the distributor and all in, and I'm not sure about the timing. We're going to see if we can get this thing to crank today and at least idle. I'm not sure at all if that'll happen. But you see I got wires everywhere. They go into every little thing. I put some gauges over here. I got a temp and an oil pressure gauge. We want to make sure this thing's got oil pressure when it fires. This is just proof of concept. I got to make sure this thing's going to run before we paint this car. If it cranks and it'll run, then I'm going to pull this out and cover the motor up a little bit, and I'm going to get ready to paint. And inside, I'm painting the inside and the whole outside at once. So I don't want to have all my wiring and stuff in. So I'll paint it, then I'll put all my wiring in neatly. But we got to make sure this bad boy's going to run like she's supposed to. New water pump. Got the new radiator with the fans. I got everything hooked up, but I'm not sure it's going to work. I'm not sure about the little sending unit with the fans. I did get them to run manually, but them Chinese directions they sent, I couldn't understand them things for nothing. I can't read Chinese. So we did the best we could by Googling a lot of stuff and a lot of research. But anywho, I'm going to hook this alternator in, I believe, before I do too much, and that should be about it. I might have to do a little timing stuff, which I really don't know how to do when I get her rolling. But anyways, I'm boiling this battery right now. She's probably deader than a doornail. I got it back out the boat. Got this good charger here from, I don't know, 1960 on it, but that is a good charger. If you ever see one of these chargers at a yard sale or something, you need to get it. Because when these chargers, when you can take the leads and you can throw sparks, boys, you got yourself a good charger. Them old ones at the Walmart now that they sell that's got the percentage on them and they want those sparks, them things is junk. This bad boy right here will boil that battery. So while that thing's charging for a little while, I'm going to piddle around. First, let me get you under here and I'm going to talk to you about some of this Chinese rad stuff. Might turn you off about buying them. You can see those copper lines there. I had to add on to my transmission cooler, so I tied them things into the rad with a couple of elbows. But those things didn't want to work quite right. The guy told me, I finally figured out what kind of threads went in that rad, and he said it was metric British 18 with O-ring, blah, blah, blah. So, and the nearest one was like 2.5 hours away just for a little fitting. So I did the right thing, and I just bought some standard American elbows and put some thread tape on, and I just forced them in there, you know, kind of like Loctite. So did that. That was a disappointment. And then down in here, let me see, right there, see my oil pressure sending unit. That thing was Chinese as well. Could not find fitting, so I forced it into an elbow, and just to make enough room to make her fit down in there. But yeah, we had to rig a lot of parts on this car. I'll tell y'all one thing, everything in this whole world has got too expensive to even purchase these days. I'm trying to cobble together. I found me a pretty good piece of wire. Looks like a piece of number 10, maybe a little bigger. It might be number 8, I don't know. But anyways, I couldn't find it laying around the shop. No, none of these ends that were correct. So I don't know, we're going to do what we have to, and I'm going to take this, which is entirely too big, and we're just going to make it work. You know, something like that. That's not coming off. Just to make a short wire. I bet this thing would cost 20 bucks at the parts store. This car's been $20ing me to death, and I'm tired of it. Perfect. Well, I think I'm ready. Probably not. I got water and antifreeze in the rad. I did change the oil filter after I put all this back together. Got my little alternator wire on. I don't know why, just to make me feel better. So the only thing I can think is let's just give it a shot. I'll leave the old charger cooking on it. Let's see if she'll turn over. Nope. Nope. We got some turnage. Let me give her a shot or two. Oh, I know. I forgot to turn my fuel pump on. We can't think of everything, fella. Could you not be so loud? A little better. Alright, fuel pump on. I do got my electric carburetor hooked up. I meant choke. Give it a couple of shots of gas. That little pumper's working great. Massive vacuum leak. Starter sounding rough. Yeah, I already hear a bad manifold leak. That manifold needs a heat riser, I was told, and it ain't got one. It didn't come with one. And they had it rigged up, and I had to take it all apart, and it ain't back together very tight, I'll tell you that. So if I can get it to run, we'll worry about that later. But that manifold sounds like not good. Huh. Can't believe she's firing up a little bit. There's a massive vacuum leak somewhere on this thing. Could we see? There's a hole. Something happened on the back of this carburetor, fellers. We're gonna fix that vacuum leak right with that rag. Huh. Here we go. She's gonna run for a fella. I don't think my electric choke's working correctly. That thing should be fully engaged. And will she run and idle? Probably not. Massive vacuum leak on the back of that. On the back here somewhere. I've got to dive into that. Well, fellers, she did crank and run for a minute. Massive amounts of blow by. I could see it blowing out of there. I don't know if y'all could see it, but massive amounts. I got to get that vacuum leak fixed before I get too involved. Just to see. Because this rag helped, but I could hear it sucking from the back. So we're going to pop this carburetor back off and look. Something's not right there. So anyways, step in the right direction. Well, I found a vacuum leak. The spacer here that come with the car, I bought a new gasket, and you can see right there, it should be all the way, you know, like so, but it's not. So let's see what we can cobble together. Always something. Well, I got the carburetor popped back on. I had to, I put that spacer in, modify the gasket. We'll see. Let's give her a second try here. Oh! Can't see it, but oil pressure is about 55 with heat's rising, so we'll see. It's got some blow by. I don't know if you can see that, but seems to be a little excessive. See it out both sides. Well, fellas, she's idling pretty good. That's really all we're shooting for. Probably need to scope the timing this way or that. Well, there she went. Well, fellas, I just cannot believe that vacuum leak on that carburetor area is gone. Don't know if y'all can see this. Oil pressure's coming up, or it's good, 40, about 52 pounds. Temperature's coming up pretty good, 180. Trying to make sure the thermostat gonna open. A lot of blow by though. I'm gonna try to put a PCV valve and see if I can't suck that back and make that go away. It just don't look that good. Fellas, I cannot believe it. She might be a runner. I don't know how long it'll last. I have little faith in it, but I did the best I could. Anyways, I'm gonna let it run for a few minutes, and I'm gonna mess with this. A lot of blow by, that's horrible. We're gonna let it run for a few minutes and just see what happens. I put a PCV valve in this. We got all this blow by sucking back into the intake. The other side, I probably had to put a thing in running out there back of the car or whatever. But I can't believe how many parts you get straight from the factory that are bad. This right here, oil pressure sending unit, I guess they would call it, bad out the box. You put the wire on there and it pegs the gauge out every time. This right here, water temperature sending unit, bad out the box. I kept waiting for these fans to come on, waiting. Wouldn't come on for nothing. And I tried and tried, and I looked at the wires and studied on them for 2 hours and couldn't figure out nothing. Finally, I took another sending unit that I had on the shelf, popped that bad boy in there. Hey, she runs like a new one. You crank her up, she'll get to 180 and run like a new one. Fans come on automatically and everything. But proof of concept works. Quite happy with what's going on here. Next thing I'm gonna do, we're gonna crank her up and let her get warm, and we're going to hop in there and see if this transmission even works. Be honest, I hadn't been checked, so we're gonna get in there and see if we got old backer up and frontwards. So if we got those, it's gonna be time to wrap up the old car, put a paint job on her, and throw a chair in it and go. Anyways, let's hop in here and check this transmission. You hear this, fellers? I got them cooling fans wired up, you know, when the key switch is just in the on position, they run. How about that? Thing runs pretty doggone good. I'm kind of shocked, honestly. But transmission seemed to go in gear and reverse and forward, so all we could ask out of that. Don't see no major oil leaks or water leaks. These lines down here where the transmission goes through this radiator, they ain't leaking. So I guess my Loctite worked. Anyways, that's about it for this video. Just wanted to get on here and get the car crunk and run to see if it would. Got a few small issues to address, and next thing I think I'm gonna get back there and I'm gonna work on this trunk. And I got a piece of gold that we're gonna put in the bottom of that thing. But we got to address this rusty trunk. I'm gonna put some rust killer on that, and probably gonna take most of these old junky wires, and I ain't gonna unhook them because I want to know where they go, because it took me a while to figure it all out. But I'm gonna just pile them up on the motor, and we're gonna cover this thing and get ready to sand and paint this whole car, and then we'll start wiring on her. That'll be the hard part. And I don't know, I got to relook up that brake system thing, but we're getting closer, fellas. It's been a pretty rough process, but hey, she's a runner. That's all we can ask. So I'll see you next week, or next time I put out a video, which I'm gonna try to do them once a week. We'll be working on the trunk, I believe. I got to put the bottom in it, kill the rust, and we're gonna go ahead and get it ready for paint, because it's a process. You got to do the trunk, paint the whole car, then I'm gonna start putting it back together, fuel cell and everything. I want to see this thing run. But anyways, thanks for watching these videos. I know they ain't too instructional or too awesome and all this, but thanks for watching. I enjoy making them, and everybody out there subscribed and watching these videos, I sure do appreciate it. Till next time, have a great day.